Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to Heavy Tones, the channel all about going low and heavy with guitar. And in this video, let's take a look at the new Neural DSP plugin, Fortin Cali. So Fortin Cali is based on the Fortin Cali amp that was released last year, and it's a 3-channel amp that goes all the way from clean through to brutal tones. And we're going to take a listen to see what it sounds like in a full mix, and then after that, I'll go through more into the plugin and how you can tweak it and what some of the parameters are. Before playing through the demo, I'm going to be using my Squier Stagemaster 7 that's got a 28-inch baritone neck, and this is tuned to drop F, so we're really going low. So let's check out that demo, and then after that, we'll explore the plugin more. Great stuff, so I hope you enjoyed that. That riff I actually wrote for the Neural DSP competition that they had last month, and I thought it would be fun to use it again for this review. So now let's go to the computer and take a deeper look at the plugin. Starting off here in my software, I'm using Logic, and I've loaded up an instance of Fortin Cali on this guitar track. Looking at the plugin here, this is the default size, but just to be a bit more clear for you watching, if you go down here, you can actually change the size that you're using for the plugin. So I'm going to click to large, and now I've got a much larger view of the plugin. If you've used other Neural DSP plugins before, you'll be used to the layout over here, but for those that haven't, let me just quickly go through. By default, it shows the amp view. This is the amp, and these are the selections of other channels. So like I said, there's 3 channels. So there's the clean channel, OD2, and then OD1. Jumping up here, this is the amp view that you're currently seeing. And if you click here, here are the insert effects that are inserted before the amp. There's a noise gate, a boost pedal, and then a second boost pedal that's got a bit more drive. And then finally, you've got your speaker section over here where you can choose which microphones you want to use on the cab. There's a choice of 2, and you can disable them over here. On this patch over here, I've currently got a dynamic microphone, like a Shure 57 dynamic microphone emulation, and then a ribbon microphone. And just combining these together is just going to give you a really broad sound and good tone. So let me first play it back, and then we'll go through some of the settings. So starting off with OD1, this is the more saturated, heavier sound of all the channels. Going through the parameters that you've got a master, a presence, bass, middle or mid, treble, but quite unique is you've got 2 gain levels. So these are pretty self-explanatory, but let me first go through the gain over here. I'm going to play back and change these gain dials. As you could hear there, when you pushed gain 1 higher up, you got a way more saturated sound. So you can use these 2 levels of gain to dial in how much saturation you want on the sound. Then underneath these parameters, you've got some switches. There's thump, hair, violence, and bright. Now, these 2 dials deal with the negative feedback of the sound. And by switching between the three states of these, you're going to sort of scoop or shape the sound a bit more. So I'm going to play this back with the thump, leaving it all the way to the right, and then I'm going to switch between the three different states. As in the middle. And then to the left. And then back to the right. So that's shaping the negative feedback of the low frequencies of the sound. Now with hair, this shapes the negative feedback of the higher frequencies of the sound. I'm going to leave this in the middle and then switch between the left and the right. Now, on the bass dial, you've also got a push pot. So if you click on over here, it pushes it in and out. If you pull it out, it's going to add more saturation. So it's going to compress that bass register way more on the power amp of the amp and give you some more saturation and compression. But because there's compression happening, it's also going to drop the level. So let me push it back in, play it back, and then you can hear the difference. Drops the level, pushing that bass. I quite personally like that pushed back in without that extra saturation, but if you do want that, you can use that. Then going over to violence, this is an extra level of gain that you can push across to give you extra brutal gain on your sound. I'll play this back before and then flip it over to the left so you can hear how much this adds to the sound. And then finally, on the bright dial, this is also a three-way switch that scoops the brightness of your sound. Okay, so that covers the OD1. Now I just want to quickly switch over across to OD2 so you can hear how there's less gain and it's got a different tonal quality to it. So this is OD1. Then OD2. So way less gain. But you can still get quite a bit of gain if you push it up. But like I said, a different tonal quality. Now, unlike some of the other Fortin models on Neural DSP, you've got a clean channel on the Cali. So in this clean, you going for a clean sound, you can use this channel and then jump between the other channels to beef up the gain. Now in this track, I don't really have any clean tones, so I'm just going to pull my guitar and just give you a demonstration of what the clean channel sounds like. Okay, so let's dial this in. You can also push up the gain. So it says what it does, it's a clean channel. The only really negative that I have with this compared to some of the other Neural DSP plugins is with the clean channel, it's quite nice to add some send effects like some reverb and delays, but unfortunately on this plugin, it's just a clean channel with no extra effects. If you do want to add some of those effects, you're going to have to go back into your DAW or use another plugin and start adding those to the clean channel if you want, or even to the saturated overdriven channels. Now, let's talk a bit more about the effects that you get at the beginning. So you've got your noise gate, and if you play back, when it picks up a signal that's below the threshold, it goes green, showing you that the noise gate hasn't kicked in, but then anything that passes under that threshold will get cut off and it'll go red. So if I play back, picks up the signal, goes green, and as soon as I stop it, it will kick in with the noise gate as it picks up that silence. Now, this noise gate is handy if you've got any hiss from a heavy saturated sound or any low-level noise. You can click this in just to help clean up your sound. Then next up, you've got your boost, which is the hex drive. Now, this acts pretty much like a tube screamer effect. When you enable it, it gives the sound more focus and just boosts it a bit. By default, the drive is set to 0, and you can tweak the tone, but this is just giving a little bit of a boost, but you can also drive it a bit more. I like the drive all the way down, just giving some focus, like I said, to the sound and just boosting it. Then next up, you've got the grind that really pushes the levels. So if you enable this and just keep it all the way down. Now that's really adding some extra harmonics to a low heavy sound. And I find, especially with low tunings, that pushing this quite a bit focuses that low end. You could even use both if you really wanted to. So really between the amp, the different gain levels, the violence, and the effects in the front with the hex drive and grind, you've got a lot of levels to push and saturate your sound. Now lastly, let's go over the cabinet section and see what options we have over here. So like I mentioned in the beginning, you've got a choice of 2 different microphones that are placed on the cabinet. You can change their position with the dial over here, or even just grabbing it and moving it in, or moving it away from the cab and bringing it in. There's a level adjustment, you can change some panning, and you can also turn off the cab if you really wanted to and use your own IRs with the amp head. But I'll leave these on. Over here are your choices of different microphones. So this has got a dynamic microphone, and on the right, it's got a ribbon microphone. I'm going to turn this off so you can just hear the dynamic, and then we'll switch over to the ribbon. Then the ribbon. And then both. So that dynamic microphone is great for picking up the mids, and then the ribbon is just picking up more frequencies, more of a warmer sound, and combined really gets a nice tone. So that gives you a rundown of the Fortin Cali. It really is a great amp with a lot of options. You've got your 3 channels going from clean to 2 overdrive channels with different gain level staging to push the gain. You've got your insert effects at the front of the amp, where you've got your noise gates and then 2 drive and boost pedals. Then going through to the cabinet section, where you've got choices of 2 different microphones to tailor the sound and really get that tone that you're after. Great stuff. So I hope that gives you an idea of how that plugin sounds. It really covers quite a spectrum of sounds, from a clean tone all the way through to a brutal tone, and a little bit of in-betweeners that you can tweak it to really customize the sound. There's a 15-day trial if you really like the plugin. I'll leave a link in the description so you can head there, get the trial, test what it sounds like, and really hear how it sounds on your system and your setup and your guitar. If you like what you saw on this channel, please subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell to be notified of future videos. And also please leave some comments on what you thought of the video, what you think of the plugin, and what other plugins and software you'd like to see reviewed. Catch you in the next video.